India crosses a major landmark in COVID-19 vaccinations with more than 23 crore vaccine doses administered, including over 31 lakh doses in the past 24 hours. More than 2 crore 77 lakh beneficiaries of age group 18 to 44 vaccinated so far. As COVID cases decline, Delhi and Maharashtra begin to unlock. Markets and malls to reopen on odd-even basis. Metro to start with 50% capacity in Delhi, whereas Maharashtra to adopt 5-level unlocking process from tomorrow. Tamil Nadu, Mizoram, Goa and Himachal Pradesh extend lockdown to further contain infections. Gross GST revenues cross 1 lakh crore mark for 8th month in a row. Revenues for May 2021 stand at 1,02,709 crores, which is 65% higher than GST revenues in the same month last year. G7 reaches historic agreement to reform global tax system, agrees to back a minimum global corporate tax rate of at least 15%, move targeted against tax havens around the world. In the French Open tennis tournament, defending champion Rafael Nadal and world number 1 Novak Djokovic storm into men's singles fourth round. Nadal defeats England's Cameron Norrie 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, while Djokovic outclasses Lithuania's Rikardas Berankis 6-1, 6-4, 6-1 in the third round. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukma in our top story. India is witnessing a continuous fall in the active caseload. Daily recoveries too continue to outnumber daily new cases for the 23rd consecutive day. India reported 1,20,000 daily new cases in the last 24 hours, the lowest in nearly 2 months. Besides, India also crossed a major landmark with more than 23 crore vaccine doses administered. In view of declining cases, many states and union territories have started relaxing lockdown rules for citizens.
Fight against COVID-19 continues as tests the need for remaining alert and maintaining caution. Wearing corona helmets on the streets of Jammu, these youths are raising awareness about the importance of COVID-19 appropriate behaviors, requesting all to follow COVID-19 protocols and wear masks. They add that this will help to maintain the declining trend of COVID-19 cases and to get the country rid of the pandemic. Due to efforts by central and state government and union territories, the pace of coronavirus infections has slowed down. India reported 1,20,529 daily new cases in the last 24 hours, its lowest in almost 2 months. The country has recorded less than 2 lakh daily new cases for 9 continuous days now. India has been witnessing a continuous fall in the active case load. The country's active case load stands at 15,55,248. The case load has been below 20 lakhs for 5 successive days. A net decline of 80,745 is witnessed in the last 24 hours and active cases are now only 5.42% of the country's total positive cases. India's daily recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 23rd consecutive day. 1,97,894 recoveries were registered in the last 24 hours. 77,365 more recoveries were reported during the last 24 hours as compared to the daily new cases. Amid declining cases, some of the state government and union territories have started relaxing lockdown rules. In national capital, markets and shopping malls will reopen from Monday on the basis of an odd-even system. Private offices will also be allowed to function with 50% capacity. Delhi metro services will resume with a 50% capacity. Group A staff of government offices will be allowed to function with 100%, Group B with 50% staff. Meanwhile, cases continue to decline across Delhi. During last 24 hours, 414 new daily cases were recorded in the national capital.
लॉकडाउन जारी रहेगा, लेकिन काफ़ी सारी और एक्टिविटीज़ में रियायत दी जा रही है, उनको खोला जा रहा है। इसके बाद देखेंगे कि आने वाले हफ्ते के अंदर भी कोरोना की स्थिति अगर काबू में रही तो और कई सारी एक्टिविटीज को फिर उसके अगले हफ्ते खोलेंगे।
Maharashtra government announced decision to lift the lockdown restrictions gradually from Monday through its 5-level unlock plan. Lockdown restrictions will be relaxed on the basis of COVID-19 positivity rate and availability of oxygen beds in Maharashtra.
5 तरह की कैटेगरी बनाई गई है जिसके तहत बड़े पैमाने पर रिलैक्सेशन दिए गए हैं। दुकानों को खुला रहने की टाइमिंग पूरी क्षमता से दी गई है। सरकारी और निम्न सरकारी कार्यालयों में 100% उपस्थिति की अनुमति दी गई है।
While new daily cases continue to decline in Uttar Pradesh too, the recovery rate has improved to 97.6%. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath held a meeting with Team 9 to take stock of the situation. Tamil Nadu government announced extension of lockdown for another week till 14th of June. The state government also eased lockdown curbs in most of the district. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin took the decision to extend the lockdown after a meeting with state officials. Politics on the issue has intensified in Punjab. The Congress-led government has been accused of selling vaccine doses to private hospitals. The state government has allegedly sold the vaccines to private hospitals at more than ₹1,000 after purchasing them at 309 rupees. And then the beneficiaries of the vaccines had to pay 1,560 rupees for vaccine doses.
एक डोज जो गरीब आदमी को मुफ्त देनी चाहिए, जो सरकार ने खरीदी है 309 रुपए पे, वो लाभार्थी को मिल रही है 1560 रुपए पे। 2 अस्पताल हैं वहां पे, मैक्स और फोर्टिस मोहाली में, जिन्होंने टीका 3000 और 3200 रुपए का बेचा है।
Besides, the testing has also been enhanced across the country. A total of 20,84,421 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours in the country. Cumulatively, India has conducted over 36.1 crore tests so far. Weekly positivity rate is currently at 6.89%, while the daily positivity rate stands at 5.78%. It has remained less than 10% for 12 consecutive days now. Bureau Report, DD India.
New collection in the month of May 2021 is 1,02,709 crore rupees, of which CGST is 17,592 crore rupees, SGST is 22,653 crore rupees, and IGST is 53,199 crore rupees, including 26,002 crore rupees collected on import of goods, and cess is 9,265 crore rupees, including 868 crore rupees collected on import of goods. The figure includes GST collection from domestic transactions till the 4th of June, since taxpayers were given various relief measures in the form of waiver or reduction in interest on delayed return filing for 15 days for the return filing month of May 21 in the wake of the COVID pandemic's second wave. During this month, the government has settled 15,000 crore rupees and 15,014 crore rupees to CGST and 11,653 crore rupees to SGST from IGST as regular settlement. The revenues for the month of May 2021 are 65% higher than the GST revenues in the same month last year. This would be the 8th month in a row that GST revenues have crossed the 1 lakh crore mark. The Income Tax Department will launch its new e-filing portal www.incometax.gov.in tomorrow, that is on Monday. The new e-filing portal is aimed at providing taxpayers convenience and a modern, seamless experience. Finance Ministry has said the new taxpayer-friendly portal, integrated with immediate processing of income tax returns and quick refunds to taxpayers, all interactions and uploads or pending actions will be displayed on a single dashboard for follow-up action by the taxpayer. It said Free of cost ITR preparation software available with interactive questions to help taxpayers. The ministry has also said taxpayers will be able to proactively update their profiles to provide certain details of income, including salary, house, property and profession, which will be used in pre-filling their ITR. The Finance Ministry further said the new tax payment system will be launched on 18th of June after the advance tax installment date to avoid any taxpayer inconvenience. The mobile app will also be released subsequent to the initial launch of the portal to enable taxpayers to get familiar with the various features. A group of the world's richest nations reached a landmark deal on Saturday to close cross-border tax loopholes used by some of the world's biggest companies. The group of 7 said it would back a minimum global corporation tax rate of at least 15% and put in place measures to ensure taxes were paid in the countries where businesses operate. The accord, which could form the basis of a global pact next month, is aimed at ending a decades-long race to the bottom in which countries have competed to attract corporate giants with ultra-low tax rates and exemptions. The G7 finance ministers meeting in London also called for more coordination to measure what impact companies are having on the climate and environment, warning of the risk of fragmentation as local jurisdictions adopt different approaches. United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has urged her G7 counterparts to keep up fiscal support for their economies despite transitory inflation that she said will remain elevated through the rest of the year. Yellen told a news conference after G7 finance ministers met in London that fiscal support was still needed to bolster economic recovery from the COVID pandemic and to make needed investments to fight climate change and inequality.
It's complicated. This negotiation has been going on for, I believe, 8 years. It stalled under the Trump administration. And so I really consider this an historic achievement, and it shows that multilateral collaboration can be successful. But I think multilateralism is not confined simply to the tax area. And what I've seen during my time at this G7 is deep collaboration and a desire to coordinate and address a much broader range of global problems. In particular, the problems that some of the poorest countries on our planet face as a consequence of the pandemic.
And let's now take a look at COVID-19 updates from across the world, which continues to fight the pandemic with all its might. So far, over 17 crore 37 lakh people have tested positive. The number of recoveries stand at more than 15 crore 68 lakhs. As many as 37 lakh 35,000 people have died worldwide due to the pandemic. The United States continues to register the maximum number of cases in the world. More than 3 crore 42 lakh people have tested positive for coronavirus in the US so far, while deaths due to the virus there have surged past 6 lakhs 12,000. Brazil has approved the import of Bharat Biotech manufactured COVID-19 vaccine, Covaxin, into the country with regulations. The National Health Surveillance Agency of Brazil gave its nod to the import and use of Covaxin, but the approval came with strict conditions which limit the number of doses that can be imported and with restrictions on the use of vaccines in Brazil. The authorization defined an amount of 4 million doses which can be used only under specific conditions. In Italy, hundreds protested on land and on small rowing boats as the first cruise ship since the COVID restrictions eased was set out to leave the port of Venice. Italy's government in April imposed a ban on cruise ships and container vessels from entering Venice's historic center. However, the ban will not take effect until terminals outside the lagoon have been completed and a tender for their construction has not been launched yet. Part of the traffic might be diverted to the nearby port of Marghera starting from next year. Belarusian opposition leader Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya has called on the European Union countries to adopt a strong and tough position and impose large-scale sanctions on the Belarusian government following an interview of detained journalist Roman Protasevich that was being aired on state television. In a bid to put more pressure on Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, the opposition leader has also exhorted tough sanctions that would not only affect individuals but also businesses. Meanwhile, EU governments say they are looking at targeting sectors that play a central role in Belarus's economy to inflict an effective punishment against Lukashenko's government. They could include bond sales, the oil sector and key export potash. Earlier in May, the journalist was detained in unusual circumstances when he was on a Ryanair flight headed from Greece to Lithuania, but was forced to land in Belarus after fighter jets accompanied the plane. Belarusian authorities detained Protasevich as the plane was on the tarmac before allowing it to continue on to its original destination of Vilnius. A baby bobtail squid and a bizarre-looking near-microscopic creatures, many near creatures like this with 8 legs called tardigrades were among the fresh supplies delivered to the International Space Station early on Saturday after a SpaceX cargo ship autonomously docked with the station. The Dragon commercial resupply services cargo ship rendezvoused with the space station. Its journey to the station began on Thursday after a shiny new reusable Falcon 9 rocket launched it out of Earth's atmosphere from the Kennedy Space Center. NASA sent about 2,000 tardigrades on the cargo ship to see how the nearly indestructible organisms handle the stresses of microgravity. NASA aims to identify genes that help make the tiny creatures adaptable to harsh environments, super freezing temperatures, radiation, and even the vacuum of space. The mission is one of 2 launches for SpaceX in the span of a week. The space exploration company run by billionaire Elon Musk further plans to launch a satellite for radio and music service Sirius XM as early as today. In Nigeria, telecom firms have blocked the access to Twitter. The move came after the government issued a regulatory directive aimed at suspending the social media giant indefinitely. The Nigerian government has banned Twitter after it removed a tweet of President Muhammadu Buhari that threatened to punish regional secessionists in the West African country. However, Twitter said that it will work to restore access for people in Nigeria. In Hong Kong, activist Chow Hang Tung was released on bail on Saturday, a day after she was detained on suspicion of promoting an unauthorized assembly to commemorate the 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown on pro-democracy activists in Beijing. Police arrested Chow, vice chairperson of the Hong Kong Alliance in support of patriotic democratic movements of China, alleging she promoted an unauthorized assembly early on Friday. The ban on the vigil and at least 6 arrests came amid growing concern in the pro-democracy movement and internationally about the suppression of the semi-autonomous city's traditional freedoms, notably a national security law imposed by Beijing last year. In the French Open, defending champion Rafael Nadal and world number 1 Novak Djokovic have stormed into the men's singles 4th round. The King of Clay, Nadal's 103rd win at the tournament puts him on top of the list of most men's singles match victories at a single Grand Slam. The Spaniard defeated England's Cameron Norrie 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, while Djokovic outclassed Lithuania's Rikardas Berankis 6-1, 6-4, 6-1. In the 3rd round, Nadal will now face seeded 18th Italian 19-year-old Yannick Sinner, who defeated Sweden's Mikael Ymer 6-1, 7-5, 6-3. Djokovic's next opponent will be rising Italian teenager Lorenzo Musetti, who upset compatriot Marco Cecchinato in 5 sets 3-6, 6-4, 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 to reach the last 16 on his Grand Slam debut. Roger Federer reached the last 16, defeating Germany's Dominik Kopfer 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 7-5. The 39-year-old 20-time Grand Slam champion lacked his usual zip against the tenacious Kofa but slogged his way to victory. And fifth-seeded Stefanos Tsitsipas came back after losing for the first set to beat John Isner 5-7, 6-3, 7-6, 6-1 to enter the fourth round. While Spanish Pablo Carreno Busta beat American Steve Johnson 6-4, 6-4, 6-2 to also progress to the next round, Russian world number 2 Daniil Medvedev continues to push for the world number 1 ranking as he defeated world number 35 Rayleigh Opelka of the United States 6-4, 6-2, 6-4 to enter the pre-quarter-finals. If Medvedev makes it to the final and current world number 1, Djokovic does not, the Russian will be the new world number 1. Medvedev will take on clay court specialist Christian Garin of Chile, who overcame Marcos Giron of the United States 6-1, 5-7, 6-2, 6-2. In the women's draw, defending champion Iga Swiatek overcame a sluggish start to book her place in the last 16 of the 7-6, 6-0 victory over Estonian Anna Kontaveit. Fourth-seeded Sofia Kenin rallied from a set down to book a place in the last 16, defeating fellow American Jessica Pegula 4-6, 6-1, 6-4. 2019 women's finalist Marketa Vondrousova of the Czech Republic defeated Polona Hercog in straight sets 6-3, 6-3 to enter the fourth round. Spain's Paula Badosa Gibert defeated Romania's Anna Bogdan in 3 sets 2-6, 7-6, 6-4. American 17-year-old teenager Coco Gauff is into the fourth round for the first time after her opponent Jennifer Brady stopped playing because of an injured left foot. Gauff next faces number 25 Ons Jabeur of Tunisia with a quarter-final berth at stake. Earlier 7-seeded American star Serena Williams kept her hopes of a 24th singles Grand Slam title alive as she overcame compatriot Danielle Collins 6-4, 6-4 to reach the fourth round. World number 32 Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova of Russia upset number 3 seed Belarusian Arina Sabalenka 6-4, 2-6, 6-0 to reach the pre-quarterfinals for the second time. Fifth-seeded Elena Svitolina of Ukraine became the latest big name to exit the tournament after she was beaten 6-3, 6-2 by unseeded Czech Barbara Krejcikova in the third round. Svitolina became the 7 top 10 seed to be knocked out of Roland Garros following Ashley Barty, Naomi Osaka, Karolina Pliskova, Arina Sabalenka, Belinda Bencic and Bianca Andreescu. Back home, after the onset of the monsoon, Kerala is witnessing heavy rains and in the next few days they are expected to continue. The Met has predicted gusty winds blowing at a speed of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour in the coastal areas of the state as well as in the Union Territory of Lakshadweep on the 8th and the 9th of June. Due to this, fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea. Yellow alert has been sounded in 9 districts of Kerala. Apart from this, due to the monsoon, rain is taking place in several areas including in Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. And now a look at the weather across the country. And the satellite picture shows rain and thunder showers expected across the northern belt of the country and also in many parts of Kerala with the onset of the monsoon. In the northeast too, rain and thunder showers expected at many places in Nagaland, Mizoram and other states. Now let's take a look at temperatures recorded in major cities across the country. And that's all in this edition of the news. News and updates continue.